mimi nakujali, lakini piki kila wakati.
Why are you putting yourself through all this?
Tafadhali.
Hujaacha tu mambo yako wewe.
Kakangu nakusihi, tafadhali wachana na mambo haya.
My name is Ken Ambani. I'm an actor. That's basically who Kenyans know, the actor in me. But beyond that, I'm also in the corporate world. I work with Postal Corporation of Kenya. I'm the current Coast Regional Manager and a father of 4. 3 beautiful girls, Anita, Abby, Chelsea, and a son called Jordan. I've been with the Postal Corporation of Kenya for the last, I think, about 27 years and grew through the ranks. I've been acting all this while because I've been in the industry all this while. I think most Kenyans know that. And yeah, I've been actually combining the two. And this is what I always say, that you'll always find time to do what you're passionate about. I've been very much passionate about acting since childhood. Actually, I got my first award when I was in class 3, I think, at Busia Township Primary. That is where I went to school, primary school. And from then on, it's been a very long story about my acting career.
Hello, una hakika unahitaji msaada wangu?
Mpenzi, mbona nang'ang'ana hivi na uko hapa? Na unajua kuna urefu na ustahili kufanya hii kazi?
Oh. Nilijua tutoka mwanzo. Kuwa ulikubali kuolewa na mimi kwa sababu ya urefu wangu.
I started acting. This was stage back in primary. Been on stage all through every other year. You know, the drama festivals and all that. So many awards. You remember there was a program called Tushauriane that was actually running. I was still very young. I won an award in at Chandaria Hall. That time I think I was in Form 3. My People in Chains, I remember very well. It was a South African play. We were actually telling a story about the apartheid in South Africa. And some of the producers from KBC, remember it was only KBC that was in place then. Some of the producers from KBC were actually there. And yeah, after the whole session, because we went all the way to the Nationals. After the Nationals, I remember one of the producers approached me and told me, young man, I'd like to utilize your services on TV. And that is when I started actually appearing on TV. There was a very minor role in Tushauriane that I went in for. And I think it didn't last long, but it was the beginning of the so many productions that I've done on TV ever since. Apart from stage, there is the screen, both film, drama series. I've also been in TV commercials, so very many TV commercials. I can count, I think, about 20 plus. Yes, both local and international. The drama series I've done, both local and international. I remember vividly flying to South Africa like every other month for the Jacob's Cross drama series. Yes, I've done some stuff in West Africa, both Ghana and Nigeria. I've been to the Asian world when I go shooting my TV commercials. Most of the TV commercials I've done, basically we've shot them out of the country. South Africa and India.
Niaje bro?
Poa bro, nilidhani utaweza kuja.
Singeweza, niko na emails kadhaa nashughulikia.
Monday na presentation moja nguvu sana.
Quality, quality, quality. Kenyans are good. We do very good productions. And I thank God that our technical team is schooled for this. There is a project we did from a whisper, the film I did with the award-winning director Wanuri Kahio. And at the end of the day, the product itself from a whisper and both the company, ourselves as actors, crew, and the country, lots and lots of awards, both locally and internationally.
Yaani hujaacha tu mambo yako wewe.
So this is the art gallery. She calls them art pieces. Tamani. Away from the fact that we were dealing with so many films from so many different countries that you can actually say are advanced technologically and specifically in this industry. So what I can say, for us to move to the next level is probably get to look at this seriously, not the way we looked at it when we were at KBC. I remember when we started at KBC, most of the times people used to imagine that it is a job for those who do not go to school or who did not go to school. But the truth is this, acting is not just for everyone and anyone. It is something that if taken seriously, you'll get to understand that you're actually depicting a character who is not you. You're actually telling a story that will benefit so many in the society. And with all this understanding, you'll actually find that at the end of the day, you get a very good product that would actually move to the international level. And I thank God that today in Kenya, away from the only school that we had, the only government school that we had that trained us on film and the technical bit of doing film, there are so many schools that have actually embraced this industry. And today, looking at, say, about 20 years ago, what we did then is very different from what we are doing now. Advancement in technology. The kind of cameras we use today is very different from what we used then. The kind of scripts that we come up with today. Initially, I remember walking onto the set and I was told, you know, this is the scenario. Now, just imagine, you're this guy, and now the lines are coming from you, and now you're supposed to be saying this and that and that. No script, no nothing. Yes, and you're supposed to script it yourself and say it by yourself and make it look real by yourself. So it was a learning process in itself. Today we have scripting classes. Today we have guys going in specifically for camera. Today we have guys going in specifically for the editing. The editing that is done today is not the kind of editing that we did then. I remember when we were doing Tausi, at some point the edit suit was in Kasarani. The broadcasting house is at the city center, just next to Norfolk Hotel, you know where it is. So the show is supposed to be going on air the same day. Actually, we did not have an extra episode to be aired on that specific. Yes, we were actually doing the final scenes that were supposed to be inserted into that episode. And we are in Kasarani. Actually, we were doing the final scenes that were actually to be taken into the edit suite for it to be pushed into that episode. Pushed, I'll use that word, pushed into that episode. And you know, there's traffic along Thika Road. It's not the kind of road, Thika Road, that we have today. So the editor, and it was film, you know, it was film. It was not digitally done, it was film. So that time, all this film, the editor is supposed to work on that, get the right cuts, place them at the right places, insert the sound and music, and just make sure that everything is right. By the time that program got to broadcasting house, I think we were, about 30 minutes late.
So Tina is trying to lobby for you to be my wife? What's cheap? Anyway, I am not ready to replace Munir. So, Sasha wangu anatosha.
I will say this, I'll give you an example of Nigeria, South Africa, and probably just recently Tanzania. They appreciate their own. The problem we have, and I might not say it's a problem, it's just a culture in this country, is that we are too sophisticated and smart for our own, to appreciate our own. More often you'll hear Netflix, more often you'll hear, I'm looking for this movie, some Hollywood stuff and all that kind of thing. And that is why you see Nigeria and Tanzania has penetrated into Kenya and has actually made it bigger than what Kenyans are actually producing, which is very unfortunate. And it all starts with our own people. Do we really appreciate our own? Do we really appreciate the Kenambanis of this world? Do we really appreciate the Papashirandulas of this world? Do we really appreciate the productions that we do that are Kenyan affiliated? I thank God for the coastal fraternity. I've lived in Coast for some time. I basically grew up in Mombasa. One thing I love about the coastal productions is we tell our stories about how we live within the coastal families and all that. The makuti, the makuti, you know, those old houses out there, the way we dress and all that kind of thing. That culture would actually sell. Our sophisticated kind of life within the cities more often compared to Hollywood is like 1%. You know, so basically one would rather go for Hollywood than buy something that we are trying to sophisticate, which basically does not meet that standard. So in essence, one, we've got to change the kind of stories that we are telling. Let's tell our stories for our Kenyan people to appreciate. And then, Kenyans, please love us. Please just get to know that we rely on you for our industry to grow.
Yes, Tina.
I need answers. Mambo mengi sana yametokea hapa nyumbani kiasi kwamba najihisi like a stranger in my own home.
We've moved from analog to digital. As at this point in time, anybody who's using those cameras we used like 10, 20 years ago is totally lost. Nowadays, we make films out of mobile phones. So in essence, and one thing I would like to appreciate with my country, Kenya, we are far much advanced when it comes to ICT. Far much advanced. And this tells you why we are where we are today with the digital platform of doing a lot of things. And yes, you can actually go into a social platform and be able to get some content here and there. You can, at the click of a button inside your bedroom, for as long as you have Wi-Fi, be able to access content on your phone. Now, for us to move to that level, again, it's all about what is in it for me. One, we need to be educated. First of all, the people within the industry, how we can actually migrate from where we are today, preparing this content for the mainstream media houses, because that is where now we get our bread. How can we get our bread from, you know, throwing it, you know, to YouTube and all these other places? And I know YouTube is actually paying very good money. We did a production the other day, Kisasa, at the coast. And our plan was to sell it to one of the mainstream media houses. But unfortunately, again, sometimes it depends on who you know for you to penetrate. But now, moving from the mainstream media houses where we sell our products, we can also sell online. But how do you do that? Go to YouTube and all that kind of thing. People need to be schooled on this. People need to be educated on this. The production houses need to be educated on this, so that away from now the mainstream media houses where we sell our products, we can also sell on this other side. How do we do that? Not so many of us know how we can do that. So in essence, it starts with knowledge. There are individuals within the industry who have gone that direction. At least they have an idea of how they do it. But if so many got together, that synergy would actually catapult that industry into something big.
And not forgetting the most important woman who has been there in each and every step of the way.
Sasha, you put a smile on my face.
And how about my mom?
This is a challenge to Kenya Film Commission and probably Kenya Film Classification Board, because I'm aware Ezekiel Mutua has really tried to go that direction. He's a good friend of mine, and I've really tried to impress on him to assist the youth to build the industry. And like I said, you cannot just produce without selling, because at the end of the day, you need to pay your bills. So if we can get a forum probably organized from probably that level. They have funds. Kenya Film Classification Board, Kenya Film Commission, and so many other bodies. They have funds. Bring in producers and educate them on how they can sell their products. Away from the normal that we know. I'm doing this for a specific media house. No, no, no. There are so many other platforms out there. We've gone digital and you can actually reach the US without using KTN. And my appeal to the people who are involved, the stakeholders within the industry, for us to grow this, then we need to remember that at the end of it all, what we are doing is not for our own consumption. I don't do it for Ken Ambani's consumption. I do it for that viewer. How many viewers do we have? The more the numbers, the better. The bigger the number, the better. The wider the scope that we reach, the better for us. Not just within Kenya. Let's go international. How do we reach the Tanzania? How do we reach the end of Africa? How do we reach beyond Africa?
Sasha, I will marry you. Na hakuna mwanamume atakaye kupenda kama ninavyokupenda mimi. Naomba unipende pia.
Every other project is unique in itself. And every other project gives me the motivation to move to the next project. Because every other time I get feedback from the first project that I did or the previous project that I did, and it is a positive feedback, it actually gives me that motivation to do it over and over and over again. At the end of it all, as a human being, you want to leave a legacy. That there was this man who used to be a Joe Kadenge somewhere. You know, remember Joe Kadenge's story? He's well known for his footballing prowess and the number of goals that he actually scored for Kenya as a country. And the guy was, even at his old age, he was not a coach, he was not, but every other time he spoke, people saw football in him. I'd like, when I bow out of the industry, which I'm not sure I will do anytime soon, yeah, I'd like people to look at this as a profession, as something that you can look seriously at and tell your son, come on son, you're doing a good job. Come on girl, you're doing a good job, you know? And if they get fulfillment out of it, the money thing will trickle in with time. The monies I used to get when, say, 20, 30, 27, 25 years ago at KBC, it's not the kind of money that I'm earning now. So there is passion, consistency, and persistence. And you'll actually find yourself still sticking there.
If you want peace in this house, then you better fire Sasha.
What?
Sasha is everything.
I wish she was. I wish she was my wife. I wish she was the mother to my one and only beautiful daughter, Tina.
I've been in the corporate world for slightly over 27 years. I've been in the Postal Corporation of Kenya all this while. I walk into meetings as the regional manager Coast, and people are like, hey, Baraza, you know, calling me those character names that I've been playing. Oh, Mchungaji. You know, what they associate and what they pick out of you, the knowledge they picked out of you when they were watching you. And I'm like, no, I'm not here for that. I'm here to seek business for the Postal Corporation of Kenya. I'm here to sell a box to you, not to act to you, you know? So in essence, when that happens, you realize that you've actually been doing a good job. And that's appreciation, so to speak. And when we are appreciated, we thank God for it, and it gives you the motivation to move to the next level. This is what I always tell the youth, that there are 3 personalities in us. 1, the physical. 2, the intellectual. And 3, the spiritual. There are 3 personalities in us. The physical is, I will only interact with you if I like what I see. And if what I see is in line with what I appreciate. I can only date a girl who, you know, looks good. And that will attract me to them. I can only, you can only date a man who probably dresses good and looks good. Maybe goes to the gym and is masculine and that kind of thing. So naturally, as a human being, the physical attracts us to this first. This industry requires a good physical presence. That is why Ken Ambani goes to the gym. I keep myself fit. People have been asking me, how old are you? I'm turning 50 in the next few. and, and, and people don't want to believe that. Why? Because I'm physically active. I do not run away from the gym. I make sure that my physical depicts who I'm supposed to be. Actually, the minute you meet someone, at the same time, you dress code. What kind of dressing? I mean, you walk into a meeting some other times and guys are like, yo, ametoka wapi huyu? You know, before they start interacting with you, the physical matters a lot. Then there is the intellectual, the second bit of the human perspective. The second bit is intellectual. The minute I see you, yes, I like you and I'll start talking to you. What comes out of your mouth depicts what is up here. So go to school, read a lot. And I tell the youth, it's not about acting, going to be in front of camera and just act as so-and-so without going to class. Going to class helps you to understand so many things. Conceptualize a script the way it is supposed to be conceptualized. You wouldn't know anything to do with the sciences that probably is depicted in a script if you did not do a little bit of science in school. You wouldn't know any mathematics, 3 plus 3 is equal to 8, if you did not go to class to get to know that it is a 6. You get the point? So you have the script here and you're looking at some words and you're like, oh, what does this mean? So for you to tell that story becomes a little bit of a problem. For you to negotiate for a good contract, you need to go to school. For you to be able to speak the language, you need to go to school. So I tell people, don't run away from school. School is very key in this industry. Then there is the spiritual. All we do at the end of it all, we are spiritual beings. The physical carries the spirit in us, and the spirit in us drives us. What do you feed the spirit in you? You feed porn? Do you feed all sorts of crazy criminal activities? Do you feed changa into your system? You'll actually kill even your physical. What do you feed into your spiritual realm? The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of God is the beginning of the moving to the next level. The minute you start fearing God, you'll fear doing things that will be detrimental to this being called Ken Ambani. And you will protect Ken Ambani for Ken Ambani to be able to utilize the physical and the intellectual well and use it well for the society. So these three beings are beings that need to be nursed so well. The physical, make sure that your physical is good. Take good food, go to the gym, work out. Even if it's not the gym, you know, just make sure that your physical is good. Dress well, make sure that your hygiene is good. So that the people that you are speaking to or you're imparting an information to would be able to appreciate you. What is the intellectual? So that the people, the minute you speak to them, they'll be able to sit there and listen. You start speaking and they will listen. They will not listen if they realize in Swahili tunasema unatapatapa. You don't know the subject in the first place, you know? And the spiritual being in you will protect the whole round. You're in the bedroom, you think you're doing things quietly, but the minute you know, I fear God, you won't do something that is going to be detrimental to Ken Ambani. And the spiritual will help you to protect the being in you. Because we just drive this using the three.